Endpoint versus Karmine Corp, New Blood versus New Org, and both these teams fighting for the chance to take their first big steps toward the major. As ever, I am Stumpy, joined by Cole, and on the pre-show, we both maybe harshly predicted Endpoint would suffer yet another loss to Astral. Cole, how are you feeling about that thought?
I mean, I'm sticking by it. They do really seem to struggle against the player. It seems that everybody else, when Astral's on the pitch, they either do one of two things. One, give him space, because they know that he's going to get the ball all the way to their backboard and they need to be there to block it, or they close him down as quickly as possible. Endpoint seem to have this habit of not treating him any differently. He's using a Mantis, Stumpy. That's thrown me. He scored a Mantis. No, he hasn't. Wow. Okay.
The thing is with Astral, he will use any of those cars. He's been famed also previously for using the Skyline 2 and any number of cars, the Tachis and the Marauder. Is this KC not respecting what Endpoint can do, or is it them just wanting to be comfortable in themselves? Because previously Astral, he's defended having these, different cars, and I always love seeing them in the RLCS at the highest level, because there are so many cars in the game that it's a shame you only really get to see 3 or 4 of them at any given time. Or is it Endpoint now to sort of tell them, look, guys, you're not going to beat us in silly cars?
Well, I mean, they very well can beat them in silly cars. Astral is more than capable of scoring brilliant goals in any vehicle you offer him. And there he goes there, styling as he puts that open goal away to make it 1-0 to Karmine Corp early doors. What statement are they making by using these cars, having not done so in this tournament so far, in the semi-finals against Endpoint? I could not tell you. That is a question that, should they win, I really hope is put to one of them in an interview after this series is over, because, yeah, maybe they're saying Endpoint, maybe it's mind games. That's the best guess I can go for, and when you're as good as they are, I guess it makes sense.
For the record, I don't think they're silly cars. I don't think that using different cars should always be treated as, they're giving disrespect. I think it's all about comfort in this game. We've seen other players say as much, and orgs and coaches saying players' comfort is number one. If that's what they're comfortable using, then they should 100% go for it. But we said earlier that Endpoint may well lose this series to Karmine Corp. But looking at the stats, statistically, across this event, they have been better. Mainly helped out by Seiko being one of the best players offensively in the entire tournament so far. But Karmine Corp have just made it through, essentially. And with Relating Wave drawing up this game, I don't feel unconfident saying that Endpoint really could take this.
Since the Seiko change, Relating Wave seems to be so much more involved than he ever was before when they were playing with Virtuoso. And you can see it there. It's Seiko that's really opening the doors, but Relating Wave is there to walk straight through them and equalize in this Game 1 versus Karmine Corp. Endpoint feeling pretty good. I do think they are going to have a faster series to deal with, and I mean gameplay-wise, than they did yesterday. Karmine this is. Astral gets a flip reset. Stakes arriving. Then yesterday versus Williams Resolve, which was quite slow gameplay throughout. Endpoint really seemed to want to turn on the steamers in this event.
I mean, that was definitely my biggest worry about KC yesterday, is that Endpoint had to go through and win, and they really had to fight hard to take that dub to even make it here. With KC, they fought against Williams Resolve, sure, but they were also the lowest team to come into the Swiss. They did well to come out of it, and I want to desperately take nothing away from Williams Resolve, but Karmine Corp should beat them every single time, and it should never have gone to those 7 if Karmine Corp were playing as well as they could. I just want them to be respecting every single opponent they come up against.
Well, lots of questions so far, and not many answers of only 2 goals between both teams halfway through this first game, as Astral makes a save onto the backboard. And Itachi, one of the best dribblers in the game, one of the best passers as well, is going to be able to try and take this one away, but he's closed down quickly again by Metsunora, still getting involved in an attacking sense. No means a third man for this current iteration of Endpoint. There's a great pass to Itachi. Seiko's going to be there, but just shows how quickly their transition game can be.
It's definitely one thing Endpoint will need to keep an eye on, is making sure that they don't leave any open nets at the back. And despite the fact that net was very far from open, Stakes touch with Metze into the midfield, left Seiko up for a near post shot. Bounces wide, but Astral to put it in.
Yeah, it's the Mantis own goal. Always fun to see, rarely seen there. And the goal does make it 2-1 to Endpoint. And they've turned this one around with that goal, which will be credited to Seiko, even though he did not get the last touch. Here's Metsunoris. To the ceiling he goes, wants to try and show off his own mechanics, but not quite able to reach that second hit. Relating Wave, though, carrying on the pressure, and look at how Endpoint are squeezing out Karmine Corp, making them panic in defense. Not the best defense in the world, as we did see yesterday in that series. They do have goals against within the team. Now is Seiko on the backboard. Bumps Itachi instead. Itachi didn't expect that, nor did his teammates. And just about there was a touch, I think, from Astral.
Yeah, Metza probably should have left that ball so Wave could come in from a better position to take a harder shot, but instead it then ends up flying back to that Endpoint half. And the rotations back nice and deep from Endpoint do fill me with confidence. They're doing well to not leave that net open at the back. Dignitas earlier on fell prey to that frequently. And in the green room, we were shouting at them consistently for it. I don't think there's going to be that criticism from Endpoint here today. With a minute left, Endpoint currently lead, and that has gone against, I believe, also what chat said. I don't quite remember the exact percentage that they predicted.
Shaky 30 seconds or so from both teams with a double commit from Karmine, then a miss from Metz. And Astral, though, is going to fix that there and then. The pass from Itachi, it's that simple for him.
Stake to go high, with Itachi reading it pretty much on his own as well. He was a full 5 car lengths away from the opponent. Astral, with a touchdown, can just stretch ahead with that Mantis nose. And onto a kickoff with 48 seconds remaining. And Endpoint, they do not want to have an overtime after leading for a minute or two.
They also lost the Game 5 against these guys in the Invitational qualifiers in overtime of Game 5 as well. So won't be looking forward to that. They'll be trying to win it beforehand. Itachi does get a save from a decent relating wave strike. Wants to double his goal line. He wants to get a touch here as well. We've seen some brilliant flicks so far in the RLCS. Relating wave not quite able to get a third.
Astral wants to pass over towards Itachi, does get it on net, and Seiko, Metz, Norris both bumping each other out of the way. Stake trying to get the ball central, but Metza to take it away from him. On that left wall, relating wave, double committing. A couple of those have happened in a row now, and Endpoint have fallen prey to it previously. With Astral going for a ground pinch, final 10 seconds counts down.
Itachi from the ceiling. Waits it out, relating wave closes him down. Will there be time for one more chance? There will, and it's the right man from an Endpoint perspective. Seiko trying to get over the top of Astral, manages it. Itachi beats it away. Only as far as Metza-Norris. Can Endpoint still turn this into something? They can just about, but there was nobody challenging. And we do go to overtime game 1.
If there's one man you want on that air dribble at the death of a game, it is Seiko to get anything going. Did a good job to keep it up nice and high for his teammates, but it didn't end up turning into a goal. And so Endpoint, despite leading that game for a couple of minutes, have fallen into an overtime, which they're not going to be too pleased about. Itachi going for that wall bump, does get it and taps it high. With Stake, however, can't get underneath the crossbar as he was rushed onto that play.
Well, we saw Endpoint try that earlier on against Karmine Corp, and now Karmine Corp do it to them. It's all from that bump. All you need to do for an Astral goal is give him a clean touch, and he will never miss. He was bumped as well.
He was tipped on by Metza-Norris as well, and he still controls his car so beautifully in the air that he can get the double tap versus 2 defenders. He's at the front of the team. He's spinning around, spraying Alpha Boost everywhere, and that man deserves it. Astral has looked, quite frankly, like a new, not even more confident player, because he always had confidence, I think. He looks like a player that is now being enabled in every single facet of his game.
Here cometh the Mantis meta. Astral is ushering in the new era with that Mantis. He looks sublime with it. 1 or 2 awkward touches, but when he gets a chance to shoot, by no means is he ever missing. Just clean strikes, as you'd expect from a long, flat car. Batmobile-esque, it's powerful shots. And Endpoint, they struggle to deal with Astral. It's happening again. They just can't get their head around beating this man.
He's the boogeyman for them. The thing is now, Endpoint have got a new player. They have got a new style that they are going for, where it's having Metza-Norris and Wave leading the way for Seiko to come in. Or rather, sorry, Seiko having the way cleared for him so he can then do something incredible mechanically. It's that new young player who has also got the huge buff in Rocket League of being French. And that is a very scary position to be in. So with Stake on that team, they're looking much better, but Karmine Corp just a touch greater in that particular game. It did go to overtime, but Endpoint, with conceding at the end, they just couldn't shut it out.
Yeah, it was a good one. 5 goals in that first game. It's exactly what we want to see between these two teams who both have such tip-top offenses. I'm curious if Karmine Corp are going to stay in their same vehicles. And Itachi still is in the Marauder. Astral still in the Mantis. Game 2, we go again.
Metza off the kickoff to Stake, and hopefully Endpoint are going to be starting this series as aggressively as they did the previous one, because that's something that I always like to see a team doing, especially after suffering a loss. Can Wave get the flip reset? Does, but gets it low. Metza-Norris not able to secure the shot on target. But I do like seeing that aggressive play immediately out of a kickoff.
I think that was half a chance for Metza-Norris coming on there. Maybe the ball just skipped up unexpectedly, but to me, he really should have been thinking that, though he makes up for it. The amends are more than made with the pass to Seiko, who sinks it 28 seconds in.
That is so beautiful. The Seiko invading the orange half of the pitch. Astral had no idea he even existed there. Within 30 seconds, a goal for Endpoint. Brilliant start.
Goals. This is the series of goals that continues. If we keep up this average, we'll be having a very exciting series indeed. Who's going to score the next one? Here's Astral trying to get himself involved again. Already a hat-trick to his name in the first. There's Itachi getting it to Stake. He sets up Itachi. There's Stake. Oh, but Stake's hesitated. Wants the flip reset instead off the backboard. Seiko gets it away as far as Itachi, who hits the crossbar.
Open.
And surely not. Oh, what a demo from Astral.
Astral to get the flip into the demo as well to recover. But Stake he held onto that ball as opposed to just hitting it down first time, as stopping and then going up. Bit of a misplay from him. This should be 1-1.
Yeah, it really well should be. But it's not to be, so Karmine Corp are going to have to keep on carrying on. Mistake tries to get in the way of Metsonoris. Metsonoris beats him to that race, then gets almost a second touch, actually manages to do it past Itachi. But then look at that from Astral again. Relating Wave's taken out the game, but then he's brought back in by his teammate Seiko.
So
and it's Seiko that puts it away.
Just waiting on that backboard after the pass comes in. Look at Wave move up straight to there, and then moving in from Seiko. Threads the needle past two defenders. Beautiful placement. And that is the style of play that Endpoint are starting to go for. Give the ball to Seiko, and magic's going to happen.
Magic's going to happen, but not just as a solo play. Give the ball to Seiko and make sure you are there, offering yourself for a pass, believing that he will make the best decision that he can possibly make. And that's why Endpoint are doing so well. Here he goes with a solo play, though, but Itachi will save it.
I do want to see Karmine Corp move up together more aggressively, because in that previous play, I think the third down was a touch too far back, and it meant that they couldn't get a shot off immediately. Itachi ultimately missed the shot, so he couldn't quite make it. With Relating Wave trying to go for a shot as well himself, he can't make it. Metsonoris charged down in a 2v1, and yet he still succeeds.
Yeah, it was a 2v1, and that was exactly what you were asking for from Karmine Corp, moving forward together as a team. Didn't quite work out there because Metsonoris did some, frankly, brilliant defending, heroic from the man. But it really was a good chance for Karmine Corp, and they'll take heart from that, I hope. As Astral slows things down, wants to get control of this, but he's got no boost, so can't do too much with it. Does bring Stake into the play, though. Astral's still going, he wave dashes towards it, and Seiko had to get that touch.
The zero boost confidence was just so wonderful to see. As he moves up the pitch anyway, gets those wave dashes. You can get just as much speed wave dashing as you can with flipping and using boost, so made a good decision to do it. Astral, you can never count him out, no matter the downsides that he has currently got on him.
He's going to play the way he plays. You know, you can't have Astral on your team and then be frustrated that he's going for a ball that maybe he has no right to go for. That is just the whole package, and here is the best side of that package. Huge booming shot, puts Karmine Corp well on the attack. Relating Wave just snuffs that out for now, but Karmine Corp, to me, Stumpy, getting back into this one if they can defend here.
Karmine Corp are beginning to besiege the blue half of the pitch. As Endpoint, they're making very, very good defensive plays, but with Itachi moving a touch too far up, Stake has to cover the backside. Can he get the second touch? Does so. Stake holding the ground for KC, does not let the counter-attack apparate.
Here he is, although he then has apparated out of there as he's demoed by Relating Wave. Seiko here with a couple of touches, over one, over two, almost. Astral just gently places that one onto Itachi's hood. Still desperate for a goal, our Karmine Corp. They're looking for it, but Endpoint are defending well, keeping their spacing, keeping their boost levels high enough to deal with most of these attacks. But all it takes is one piercing pass from Karmine Corp, and Endpoint look in trouble.
Stake with his turn to try and get that double tap. Seiko on the backboard again, thwarting all of these attempts to go much further than just a wishy-washy touch towards the net. KC being shut down everywhere at the moment, but with a poor touch from Seiko, Itachi can sneak, quite frankly, a crawling ball past the defense.
Yeah, but you have to give credit to Itachi. How often do you expect Seiko to make a poor touch like that? 90% of the time in Itachi's position, you're just assuming he's booming it over you. But Itachi just had a sense that something odd was occurring from Seiko's Fennec, and he was dead on.
Yeah, did a great chance to get in the way of that ball, but with a minute remaining, Endpoint must have the thought that they were in this position in the last game, and then they lost in overtime. It should not repeat itself.
Seiko booms that one long, asking Relating Wave to help him out, but Stake beats Relating Wave to the ball. Now here is Astral against Metsonoris. It falls to Seiko, who can swallow up some time here, just getting as many touches as possible. Even if the ball isn't ending up getting too much distance on it, it's slowing them right down. He did really well there to take all the momentum off, and actually what it does lead to is surely the winner for Endpoint, although maybe not. 33 seconds left.
A really nice placement from Wave here, though, to get it around Itachi pre-jumping when he had to pre-jump as well. Get that, and I'd probably see KC getting a goal. But Wave just sniped that top left corner, gives them back their 2-goal advantage, and KC needing double the goals.
It was great play from Relating Wave. All came from Seiko, slowing the ball down at the right time. Now Metsonoris does get that 100 boost, so there's going to be no chance to boost starve Endpoint here, which is what KC need to do. Here's Stake, though. Says he's not mechanical in his interview. Can he prove himself and everybody else wrong?
The most humble interview of all time, that was as well.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Stake's goal of the season, because he's definitely got it in him, despite what he says about being not particularly mechanical. It just seems something that this game is starting to fade away. 4 goals in this one. We are keeping up our rate of scoring, and Endpoint take game 2.
What a good confidence inspirer as well, knowing that in the first game, you let your guard drop, you stopped blocking the net, and then KC came back and got their game. Did a brilliant job to do so, but now you can concede one, and then you don't need to throw away the game, alongside that. Really good play so far. This series hotting up and trading wins until, hopefully, we get to 7. That's what we always like to see. But Endpoint looking like a brand new team, as our Karmine Corp.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see this one go to 7 at all. The clarity of the shot that both teams are doing, they are both well in form at the right time in the semi-finals of this European Open. Both these teams trying to take the fight to the opposition. I think we will see 1 or 2 awkward goals like Seiko's tricky touch there that let Itachi in, but for the most part, pretty much every strike we've seen has been a bit of a banger.
Every single shot, at least, have been very threatening. And the defense on the side of Endpoint, I think mainly for me, has just had a really nice formation to it. A player on the backboard, a player at near post, and a player challenging. You cover all your angles, and then you can mop up wherever the ball ends up falling. Really good play. Karmine Corp, I think, have also been very impressive to me. I think that they seem to be one of those teams that when they get a goal in their mind and they get their goal to go ahead in a series, then they'll start to really pile on the pressure. They think, oh, yep, okay, this is who we are. But when they go down by 1, that's where Endpoint seem to really be making sure that they know they're here to play. And I wonder if we will get the answer to our question. Are Karmine Corp using silly cars because they don't respect Endpoint, or are they using silly cars for their own benefit?
Well, we will see. My next question as well is, will they continue using these cars? And Astral is indeed still in the Mantis. Do we have a maraudering Itachi? We do indeed. So yes, we do continue. I'm curious if Endpoint get the next game and maybe the one after, where the Karmine Corp will just revert, or if they are locked in. They feel that if they go back now, then they're saying, ooh, we messed up there.
Relating Wave immediately going for that stealing play. The early game aggression did them well previously, and so they're going to be continuing with that. I just want to see essentially more of the same from both teams. They're doing a great job to cover every angle of the pitch. A lovely touch from Metsonoris there, and Seiko to get it over 1. Can't quite get the touch over the top of Itachi, so Metsonoris will have to take over. What brilliant rotations Metsonoris has had in the last couple of days, to be honest.
Yeah, he's really stepping up his Metsonoris, showing some of his form from RLCS's past, looking every bit as good. There's lots of the up-and-coming young blood that we see dazzling our screens in front of us. And here's the pretty much most dazzling of them all, Astral, and his gold wheels on his Mantis, following up on Stake's touch, although Stake's hit is bumped a little bit far ahead of Itachi, who was marauding forward, hoping to get a touch there.
Don't.
Now Stake in the corner. Great clearance from Metsonoris. Astral was so far forward there. That could have backfired horrifically, but he had the reflexes to fix it. And now down the other end, he links that play, and Metsonoris uses his experience just to see it away slowly.
One of Itachi's pre-jumps is going to give us an incredible goal in this series. A couple of times he's gone for it and it's not quite worked, but he has still forced the player to go for a high or low shot. It's still impacting the play. But just then, he managed to get in the way of Relating Wave before he even left the ground. That's how early he's going up for a lot of these pre-jumps. I want to see one of them really start to pay off.
Relating Wave, tried a solo play there, but Astral was equal to it, and now he sends them forward. Great transition, brilliant catch there from Itachi. Relating Wave just stood tall on the Endpoint goal line, making sure that ball didn't go into that blue goal. And now there he is down the other side as well. This is great play to me. It is clean, confident touches from all of these. You can see what they're attempting. Yeah. There's no loose hits. Even if they're booming it away, they're booming it at least in the general vicinity of a teammate. And it's keeping the pace up in general of this game so much. So
close to that lovely double tap down, but you're completely right. Both teams shielding their goals, so spectacularly that I think there's been a good couple of chances, but mostly midfield play and trying to control a lot of the mid game. But Seiko tries to go for one, whips it around the back of Astral, but with the delayed flick from him, he's managing to save it away. Astral moving down the pitch with Wave to catch, and Metza to miss. Itachi 3v1.
Oh, clever there from Itachi. Endpoint weren't expecting it. Let's taken in the end, but he just about hits the post. Now Itachi tries to finish the job, not quite able to either. Astral from the ceiling manages to maneuver his car around it. He gets the second touch as well, but it's saved. What a stop by Relating Wave.
What a shot by Astral to go to the ceiling, use his boost to come all the way down, then double tap it off the ground. Gorgeous plays. Stake tries to go low, but Relating Wave off the goal line to remove any threat.
This is absolutely brilliant. Even though we've had no goals, you love to see it. They break the rule too. Nothing wrong with that at all at this level, in my opinion. I'm sure I'll have plenty of people disagreeing with me. But it is Stake. Go on, son. Get involved. Use your mechanics. We believe in him. This ball's just going to fall to Seiko. What can he do, Stumpy?
Tries to go for the flip reset with Astral blocking it out, though. It does leave Wave to use 100 boost to do exactly nothing, and now he finds himself in a 2v1. But Metza, yet again, standing tall and resisting the offense.
Stake there into the center. Itachi wants it, but realizes that he can't beat Seiko to that ball, so heads straight back. Relating Wave again on the transition. I am surprised that he is the man who is most often playing in front of the ball for Endpoint, looking to be the outlet when they have these defensive passes. He's done such a good job in that role, but Itachi has breached Seiko. Relating Wave now is back.
Bit of a rough touch there from Seiko onto Relating Wave, bumped him out of the way, but with Seiko securing a demolition, it means that the attack from KC does slow itself down. Metz with no boost has to forfeit the ball towards Stake. Under a minute now remaining, still 0-0 in this third game. Relating Wave desperately trying to change that. Another overtime. You can only think it's going to go the way of KC, but before we get there, Metsonoras secures the pinch, a goal for Endpoint.
The old Rocket League man from Finland, he just booms it home, pinching it in. Poor old Stake and Itachi. Both of them probably thought the other one would be able to get there. Unfortunately for Karmine Corp, nobody was. And Endpoint do take this lead in Game 3.
A looping ball to bounce over the back of your net is just so hard to watch.
Agonizing.
40 seconds remaining. KC are going to do what they do best and try to secure a goal to take it into that overtime. Astral to get a touch backwards, but with Metsonoras beating out Itachi, this ball stays high. Relating Wave to get a challenge in the midfield. But look at Seiko's positioning. That is so accurate.
It was accurate there, but he shouldn't have got that second touch. His teammates didn't want him to get it. They were arriving maybe for a finish. Metsonoras over the goal line. Itachi needs some boost and gets it. Now, what can he do to get this ball forward? Such a good passer is Itachi. Stake almost gets it back to him, but then does get a dunk. 10 seconds left. KC continue to push.
That's a spicy pinch with 5 seconds remaining. Relating Wave into the midfield. Has to keep it high, away from anybody from Karmine Corp. Astral misses. Endpoint take game number 3 and lead 2-1 in this series. And both of these teams looking like a fire has been lit underneath them.
A lower scoring game, but equally as exciting, if not more so. 5 saves from Relating Wave, and always there when a pass is coming his way. A brilliant performance and deserved 510 score, just to show how involved he was from beginning to end there. And Endpoint are doing something that historically, Stumpy, they failed to do. And that is deal with Astral. Look at them there. Yeah, they got the save on him. That's gone in before in the past.
Yeah, they are doing such a fantastic job of making sure that whenever they can go to one of those positions where it's Astral versus the team, they've got rid of any of the demons that are in their head thinking, when we've come up against Astral shooting against us, we have usually lost. We have not done well against him, whether it's been on any of his previous teams, essentially, with Oxygen, Slurry, whoever it ends up being, he has not done well. Sorry, Empire have not done well. But now, it's that new look. And I am so excited to see them really embracing the new style that they are playing and they are going for. Seiko said on Twitter yesterday, top 4 in my first regional. This is amazing. Wow, what a game. I love Rocket League, whatever it ended up being. He is putting forward an incredible case for being the MVP of this series, if he can keep it up, and bringing his team into top 2 for his first ever regional.
He's a real force of positivity, but we've seen this before from Karmine Corp. Yesterday, against Williams Resolve, all the momentum, the entire world was against them, and somehow they found a way, even needing an equalizer with 30 seconds left or so. They did indeed find a way. It wasn't beautiful, but it was effective, which is something that grit, that fight, is something we've often wondered if a team like this would be able to have, and they've shown they do, and that is what they have to dig deep with to get back in this series.
I mean, Relating Wave told everybody on his interview yesterday, don't count us out. Like, we are here to win, and they're putting forward a brilliant case for it. Another great backboard bump, though, from Astral onto Relating Wave, but the double commit from Itachi and Steak leaves it open for a rough touch. Seiko across the net, saving the ball twice. This first minute has been nothing short of just a massive infiltration from KC.
We've seen a few of these backboard bumps, and one did lead to a goal eventually, but not directly. I've got a feeling the way these players are looking for them, we all see a goal scored because the defender was bumped away directly in the next few games or so. But that remains to be seen. What doesn't remain to be seen is whether or not Karmine Corp have the attack, which they do. Stake puts it out wide. There's Relating Wave, though, involved again. His read of the play has been flawless. Flip reset here. He puts it in, but Metanoros can't quite finish.
Oh my word, I saw that happening, and I saw Gibbs start to write down the top play of the day, because that would have been such a gorgeous goal. But that ingenuity that he wants, that he's going for, that's the class and the style that Relating Wave is offering nowadays. It's so wonderful to see.
Here's Metanoros looking for Relating Wave. Once again there for the pass. To the ceiling he goes this time. Seiko tries to beat Astral. Astral read it, saw it happening. Another pass comes in. Stake this time. Good defending from Karmine Corp. All three of them, though, a little bit centered. Not much distance between them. Astral's boostless. This is a real chance for Endpoint if they can just keep on peppering this orange goal. And Stake does exactly what you need there. What a touch that is from Stake when his team needed him.
Seiko at the back, though, managing to rotate away, having no ego, not thinking, okay, we're on a really big push here, we need to score in this one. Knows they're going to be getting another chance. But KC, their defense, bump, utterly amazing.
The game seems to slow down whenever Seiko gets the ball. He just seems to have 3 more seconds to play with it than anybody else does because he's there that little bit quicker. His touch is that little bit better. His decisions are that little bit more improved than anyone, although he has backflipped there when there was half a chance. And now here comes Astral, flicks it almost over the top of Relating Wave, queuing up Itachi. Stakes waiting underneath, but saw that Seiko was getting it, and he goes back. It's another exciting 0-0 so far in this one.
I do see that Seiko, I feel, is wanting to make a really big claim versus Astral here, because Astral is one of the best mechanical players in the world. And Seiko, being completely new into the RLCS, he must look up to him in some way to be like, this is the player that I would love to become at one point in my tenure. With Itachi touching the ball so delicately below the crossbar, though, maybe he should have had his eyes over there.
He's been watching the RLCS these last few days. We have seen plenty of these delicate little flicks. We saw one earlier as well in the BDS Dignitas series. And there's one more to add to the collection.
Utterly brilliant from Itachi. Secured that goal under 2 minutes remaining. And with the 2 players on the ball then from KC, leads to Stake having a shot and Metanoros. He does pre-jump it, maybe 0.2 of a second too early, but the placement from Stake meant that is such a hard one to save.
Who needs septuple flip resets when you can boom the ball in the bottom corner that consistently well? And Stake shows that mechanics aren't everything. Sometimes clean striking is what you need to get yourself involved in the scoring. His first goal of this series, and Karmine Corp take a 2-goal lead.
With a big boom from Metanoros, 90 seconds starts to approach. With Itachi seeing Seiko underneath him, wanting to hassle and keep the ball away. Doesn't quite manage to. Seiko maintaining his nuisance-ness in the orange half.
His nuisance-ness is indeed continuing. Relating Wave, his teammate, though, takes over, gets another little touch there. And Seiko somehow knocks it backwards at 45 degrees. Not quite sure how that happened, but Astral won't care. He's got a flip reset. Yes, he has just about. And Metanoros says no.
Tell you what, we were saying yesterday about Endpoint, the Relating Wave seemed to have a new style of how he was playing, with those annoying little touches, going for one off the corner and then getting anything off the double, or even just threatening to go for a touch off the double. That is keeping KC grounded, and it means that if he gets that touch, completely open. Let's get the touch! Seiko, get the touch! Turn!
Those are the moments where you're trying to keep control when you're commentating, but actually all you want to do is just go, surely, someone score! Metanoros, surely, Relating Wave, surely, Relating Wave does. It was happening. It's been coming. Look at them celebrating in their seats. They are feeling this one at Endpoint.
In the same phase of play, every single player on KC has to stay on that goal line, sharing 12 boosts between them. They don't manage to keep it out, and Endpoint begin their final minute bombardment of the orange half.
Karmine Corp, though, until this last 30 seconds or so, have been the better team, but Endpoint have rallied and are now looking so dangerous. Seiko has an Astral-shaped Mantis looking to get past him, and Astral sends it high. Seiko was just tracking him all the way, though. Metanoris has been found, and then Relating Wave. Again, all 3 players involved in an Endpoint counterattack gets them so much territory.
Gets them a lot of territory, but then as soon as that play breaks down, none of them can stop the play at the halfway line. Hence, Stake has now moved the ball down to the blue half entirely on his own. Relating Wave to go high and side onto the wall. Seiko up the double, has the angle, but doesn't quite secure the shot.
Seiko could have ended it there and then, but it's not quite to be. They've still got some work to do, getting this ball to the floor. That is all that matters for Endpoint and Metanoris. He can fake a half volley. He knows that's game over. Yeah, he's not quite there. Karmine Corp take the game.
I don't want to nitpick Metza too hard on that at the end, but like, you don't have the time. Just catch and go for a flick or something. But regardless, Karmine Corp, brilliant showing from them. They managed to get 6 shots only in that game. It felt like so much more, but I think it's because every single shot had so much passion and fire behind it that everyone seemed like it could go in. I am amazed at how well both teams are managing to fight against each other. The offense has been exemplary from both sides. The defense especially. Everyone's just been preserving how they want to play this game, and then it's just been the immovable object versus the unstoppable force on both sides of the pitch. It's wonderful to watch.
It's 2 moments in that last game from Karmine Corp of quick-fire brilliance in Itachi's goal and then Stake's finish down to the bottom right, compared to the sustained pockets of pressure that Endpoint seem to get, where they're, a little bit out of it, a little bit out of pace, and then suddenly 20 seconds where you're thinking, how on earth do we get this ball out of our third? Endpoint are making the most of those chances that they're making for themselves, but Karmine Corp have got themselves back in this series.
As we go into game number 5 of this best of 7, one of these teams will emerge battered and bruised from Wasteland on match point. Will it be Endpoint or is it going to be Karmine Corp? 5 minutes will let us know. I feel like it really could be either team. At this level of any competition, it probably will be either team. And I'm happy that the desk was also split when asked. It was Leaf and Subi going for Endpoint. It was, I don't know what the other two are called, going for Karmine Corp. And it's one of those games that I think everybody's going to agree. It just shows the brilliance of them both.
Seiko booms it long, and Stake intercepting again. Knows his role in this team is to make sure that Endpoint are having as few free touches as possible, because his team can make some for themselves. Look at the dribbling from Astral. Seiko, I think it wasn't expecting his next touch. Then he flicks it into the center to start this pressure. Itachi into the middle, and Astral is surely going to finish and does.
Yeah, with those gentle touches, Itachi's just going to find his way into it. But look at Stake. Just following up on Metanoris and then getting that awkward touch means that the entire defensive Endpoint is scrambled. Astral taking a brilliant opportunity to go for the top corner shot. Mic drop 1-0.
Who gets the second? Seiko already steals some boost there from the Karmine half, but it won't come to too much because Astral has the ball. He has Itachi in the center, but I think tried to go solo, and for once, his touch wasn't exactly what he needed. It does still lead to some pressure for Karmine, but Seiko's getting it away. Oh, he was so close to feeding Relating Wave there.
Seiko on the backboard. Can he touch it down for a Relating Wave? Desperately wants to feed him. He's got the spoon to his mouth. He's saying, here comes the aeroplane. But nothing is going in just yet. Everybody on Karmine Corp swatting the food away.
How can I follow that? Is Itachi booming that to the side? Seiko up to the ceiling. And Stake sees it away. You go, I need a second.
That's all right. With Astral catching in that back corner, Metanoris starts to be a nightmare, but Seiko getting one demo midfield, not necessarily where it needs to be, because it opens up an avenue for Astral to pursue down.
Almost a cheeky finish there for Itachi. Stake just hangs in the air. The aeroplane was up and running, soaring, gliding through the air. But Endpoint, this time it's their turn to swat. Here's Astral now onto his own backboard. Just dribbling it away. You know what he's going to do. You know he's going to get some distance, but not with Metanoris there getting involved. Stake past Relating Wave. Seiko for a clean touch. Lots of large booms right now. He's going to be the first to really do something with this ball. That might be the touch, the key to open things up. Relating Wave. He's doing so much work in attack and defense is Relating Wave. He is everywhere for Endpoint.
Seiko wants to get all over Itachi, goes up for one, and then the bump, but the shot wasn't even on target, so it wouldn't have gone too far. Metanoris on target, but Stake to clear it away. Does maintain control as well. Seiko's rotations, he goes to the halfway line, absolute maximum, and then will turn around when Endpoint are attacking. It means that they've just got a conveyor belt of players ready to put the pressure on KC. And with another pass from Stake, another goal from Itachi, it is a 2-0 lead for KC.
I've been praising Endpoint's third-man positioning pretty much since the start of this European Open, but right then, I think for the first time, they were just getting a little bit impatient, moving forward too much when the play wasn't really on. All it took was one clean 50-50 from Stake, and then down the other end, Itachi gets a free goal. So something for Karmine Corp to try and punish if they find Endpoint too far forward again.
It's a bigger goal differential than Endpoint have had to try and take down in this entire series so far. So hopefully they're going to be able to do it. They did get a late goal in one of the previous series, but Relating Wave wanting to get one very much in the mid part of this game. Astral to the backboard, can clear it along, gets it away, and Endpoint again on defense. Karmine Corp's offense has just been transformed in this match. They're starting to read everything that Endpoint want to do.
Yeah, they have all the control right now. It's not just solo plays they're relying on. They're getting all the boost. They're making Endpoint rush. They're looking like the better team. Endpoint have to do something about this. And these booming clearances when they have no boost aren't really doing the trick. Keep hold of that ball for just a split second longer. Try and tempt a KC player to come to you and pull himself out of position because...
Love that.
Right now, they're just always there.
I love that touch from Wave. That has meant, despite the fact it was such a small touch, this offense has continued. He just cut in the way and just meant that there was not a booming chance for KC to get the ball. Is it going to lead to a goal? Not quite. Astral staying firm on the goal line, getting 2 saves as well. Relating Wave, though, wanting to maintain that annoying player status. Is doing so brilliantly, but no goals flying in for Endpoint just yet. Looking like Karmine Corp are going to be securing match point.
What a touch that is from Astral. Sadly, his flick was a little bit too far ahead of Itachi, because that could have been quite a special little passing play. I'll come forward again. Metsonoris out wide. Endpoint need to break free as soon as possible. Stake is getting in the way of everything. Relating Wave just wants to get a touch, wants to get some control. He has it, he shoots, but Stake saves.
Stake's pre-jumps are just filth. Every single time I've seen him up, he has secured a touch on the ball, or even just like a 50, or getting in the way of it in any semblance. He is doing brilliantly. So impressed with Stake right now. With 10 seconds left, Endpoint are going to struggle to get to, especially with the breath of KC breathing down on them in their own half. Third game secured for Karmine Corp. Endpoint still on 2. Will they get a consolation goal? Itachi to save it away at the death. Match point we find ourselves on in the grand finals nearly has its second entrant.
The first game, really, where we've seen one team look decidedly better than the other. And there, Karmine Corp, they kept Endpoint CEX at arm's length pretty much throughout. I can't think of too many opportunities they had. And you can see the score that they had as well. 172, 176, 241. Nobody really involved in the play. And it won't be a surprise that Endpoint have requested a timeout.
I mean, it was at the end, I think it was Wave with a single goal. A single save, rather. They were not putting up a big defensive effort. But now it's time for Eclipse to talk to the guys. Metza's standing up. This is one of the benefits of having everybody in the same room, I think. You can look each other in the eyes. You can see what you want to do. You can talk everything through. You can do just physical demonstrations of, okay, you need to be here. Just that language, that body language you can really give over to your team. You can inspire them. That is Eclipse's job right now. And it's the most important time to do it in a semi-finals.
I would love to know what he is saying now to change that last game. Something definitely shifted in favor of Karmine Corp. And I mean, to be fair to Karmine Corp, even when Endpoint were all over them, they've kept trying to do the same thing, sticking to their game plan, knowing that eventually these solo plays are going to work. The boost steals will embed them in the Endpoint half. And I mean, for comparison, as ever, Karmine Corp very stoic. They're looking calm, they're looking chill, not too, when they're winning, not too emotional. Can they just ride this one home, Stumpy?
I think one thing on Karmine Corp's mind right now is that against a team that you would say they need to be beating every single time, Williams Resolve yesterday, it went to 7 when it really felt like they were romping home with it, right? The fact that now this is only 3-2 in favor of Karmine Corp, it's got to be a thought of they're not out. By any means, you cannot count anybody out at this stage. And I think they know that. They need to make sure that they are staying very realistic with their expectations. This is the only game where either team has run away with it, and it was still only 2-0. That's how close this has been so far. It's going to be hard for them. They are going to be having to play their game to every single level that they can take it to take down Endpoint, because I am very impressed with every player on the pitch right now.
I said it earlier, and I'll say it again. The last time these guys played, it was in the Invitational qualifier, and it went all the way to game 5 in a best of 5 overtime. So these guys have history of going the distance. Are we going to see them do it again now? We're on to Neo Tokyo in Game 6. Karmine Corp could win it right here.
It's already that offense coming out as well for Karmine Corp. As we said earlier, Endpoint wanted to be the aggressive team immediately. But one of the biggest differences in that game number 5 was that Karmine Corp, they were the aggressive team. Straight out the gate, they got boost control. They got so many bumps in the back line that Endpoint did not know what to do. They were not expecting it. If that's the winning formula, then they're starting well. The Endpoint has started to turn the tide. It's only been 30 seconds, but both teams are at a fully level pegging.
Endpoint looking more disciplined this game as well, not trying to force things. Maybe that's what Eclipse was saying, that they just need to make sure that they are taking the opportunities just to chill and relax, just for a split second when they can and pick up boost. Moving too far forward is always going to backfire. This should be a relatively simple save for a Lating Wave. A man of his qualities not only gets the save, but then gets a second touch as well from the backboard.
Touch.
And that brings in Seiko. Metanoris is just waiting to see what happens. Seiko follows it himself, but Astral booms it all the way home.
Metanoris also followed it himself, and Stake with the demo. Both Seiko and Stake removing each other. That mutually assured destruction does not lead to any goals. With Astro with one flip reset, can't quite get the second. Will Seiko move up? He does. Stake up so early to block that out.
That's what you want as a third man. You want them to be brave and their decision-making to be quality. And that's what Stake is offering Karmine Corp, time and time again. They just know that if the two of them get in trouble, he'll be there to bail him out. What have you seen?
So I did not see that Relating Wave was back there, and I thought that Stake had just straight up backflipped when it was a fully open net, but he must have seen that Wave was there and was going to beat him to that ball. So my oh no was undeserved.
For official reasons, Stumpy Goblin retracts his oh no.
I'm so sorry for my oh no. I did not mean to do it. I don't know what I was thinking.
Here's Relating Wave out towards Astral. Relating Wave should beat Stake, he does. And there's 100 boost, not for him, but for Seiko. Metanoris versus Stake. Mets gets there ahead of Stake. Relating Wave, really smart there. Didn't have much boost, and what a touch as well. Oh, round of applause for Relating Wave. What defensive play that was.
I would have loved to have seen any of his teammates come in to support him, though, because he was just left high and dry after getting two brilliant touches. It was still just him. He had about 30 minutes to say, hey guys, just need a hand, or for one of his teammates to come in to actually help out. That does mean that, thankfully, Casey did not score off it for Endpoint's sake, but also I do worry that Endpoint are going to be not necessarily on the same page for these plays, but with that passing, every single one of those thoughts has been banished from my mind.
Yeah, they really needed that one, their first goal in the last couple of games, and frankly, it's a bit of a freebie. It was a nice pass, but you'd expect Astral to just stay towards the back post a little bit more. He went central too quickly, made the save as difficult as possible for himself, and it didn't work. Seiko scores.
Yeah, Seiko going straight over the top of Astral is a very clever decision. Put it in front of him, he can save it. Put it behind him, that's ideal. But over the top, it's such an awkward position to find yourself in. Really good spot from him. And Endpoint now taking the lead, and a really, really good time to do it as well.
It's a series that deserves Game 7, but Karmine Corp will surely disagree. As Itachi goes on, trying to dunk Relating Wave on his own backboard. He's going again, getting so, but he's mushing that on the ceiling to try and get some distance. Only goes halfway in the end via another touch, and Stake winning again the pre-jump. So fast to react. He tries to take a nibble off of Relating Wave as he goes out, but Relating Wave dodges it, and we've got some relaxed play for a little while.
Seiko's trying to go for a lot of these fancy flip reset plays, and I think, especially considering the talent that is on KC, they're all respecting that any one of them could find their way in. They know what Astral is capable of. Seiko is capable of just as much. Two players on that backboard will save the ball away, and so Relating Wave awkwardly flips on the side so Astral can clear. Metanoris keeping that pressure on the orange half. They are overwhelming the defense right now. Itachi going for a wild jump. Stake up early, does land on the backboard to clear it away, but Endpoint just continuing to put the pressure on. That is just over the target, and again!
Seiko's snapshots can only boom against the crossbar, but Endpoint still have the attack. There's Metanoris, and he beats one of the KC defenders for pace, and he scores it.
Brilliant pass from Seiko, goes high, and just drops it low for Metanoris, and it goes over the top of both Astral and Stake this time. 2 goals clear. KC got to this position last game, and they won it out. Endpoint begging for that Game 7.
Itachi almost got that touch, but Seiko instead, there's like a little wave dash or some sort of hit, buccaneering Fennec right there, hitting that ball. There's nothing's going to happen from it. Astral is beaten down by Metsanora. Stake there towards the backboard, just trying to set up Astral. There's the bump!
Good.
I said there would be a bumping goal, and it's happened with 41 seconds left of Game 6.
That is genius, that Astral. He can't get a better touch off this ball as it comes off the ceiling. Sees Seiko up in the air, and Predator missiles his way into the passenger door of that Fennec. Beautiful stuff. One goal separating these two teams.
Suddenly it gets really nervy for Endpoint. They have to stand up and be counted here. They cannot defend for the next 40 seconds and expect to see this one away by 2-1. Stake towards the backboard. His relating wave. Massive clearance. Exactly what Endpoint needed. Itachi's touch only as far as Seiko was trying to slow things down again, but Astral's 50-50 game right there is too strong. That's good shepherding from relating wave. Good change of pace, but Stake with another massive pre-jump. It's just trying to get Karmine Corp involved. 10 seconds left.
Final 10 seconds until Game 7 and Champions Field is loaded up on all of these guys' computers. Astral into the ceiling. Not the best touch ever, especially as Relating Wave removes Itachi from the pitch.
Huge.
Over the top of the final defender and below the crossbar. Seiko makes it 3, and Game 7 between Endpoint and KC is here.
The Yeehaw is having a great time, and we all are as well. Game 7 is upon us. We said a very long time ago that this just felt like a series that was going to go all the way. It has not disappointed up to now. 5 minutes, Stumpy. Separate these two teams in BDS. Which one is going to take that opportunity?
Oh, that is just an utterly impossible question.
It's rhetorical, don't worry.
I frankly despise you for asking me that.
Rhetorical.
They are separated by a hair's width, and I have no idea who is pipping the post. It's just both teams throwing everything that they have possibly got at this semi-finals. The first regional, we've said how important it is for teams just to make it past the Swiss, to secure those points. If you can get to that grand finals, you're locking in even more vital points. So when it comes to the major, when it comes to Worlds, that may well separate you. This individual game here, the next 5 minutes, could be the difference between watching at home in your pants or being on the big stage.
It has been so long since Team Endpoint made a final in the RLCS X and Beyond era. It has happened all the way back in full. Can they do it again right here, right now? Will Karmine Corp manage to break their hearts? We go to Game 7, and we've started with a little bit of Endpoint pressure, which Karmine Corp are just relieved to see squeeze into the opposite corner, but Astral's missed there. That put him in trouble.
Seiko to receive that ball, goes onto the back ball with not too much boost. We'll get another touch nice and low, but Stake has changed his card design, but stays with the... No, before he was with the Fennec, I believe. No,
he was in the... Stake was in the Fennec. Itachi was in the Marauder. Astral in the Mantis.
Was Stake in an Octane? Regardless, he's changed card design, and that's thrown me. But... something has changed for Stake. He wants to have the fortunes reversed. For that last game, losing 3-1 was not good enough for him.
I could be about to enrage everybody, but I'm pretty sure he was using a Fennec, but probably a different design. You're right. Yeah, it's more golden now. Anyway, hasn't led to any goals so far, golden or otherwise. Astral takes a quick shot, and Relating Wave and Metsanora been teammates for a long time, but still getting in each other's way in defense. That's an old Endpoint problem, potentially rearing its ugly head when it matters most as Itachi slows down in the air. And Stake is going to get bounced here. Seiko has a chance to get past him, but Stake managed to get in the way in the end.
I actually think that touch from Relating Wave helped Stake out a lot, because no longer was it traveling behind him. It ended up falling just in front, and so he could take control. But Wave trying to get, again, one of those awkward touches. Not all of them will be the perfect touch. That's not the nature of them. It's to make the game more chaotic and for you to exist in the chaos.
Metsanora tries to chaos his way through Astral there by dunking him in the sky. But it's Astral that the ball falls down to. He's now on that right wing. He's got no boost, but Endpoint don't necessarily know that. They have to stay just as brave against him, though, even if he does or doesn't. Itachi there in the center. Very booming here so far, Stumpy. I feel like we're at a point where we're afraid to make mistakes.
Yeah, may well start to be a little bit cagey, but I think as soon as one goal goes in, we're going to see the agility of all of these players start to be showcased. Just flying around the pitch and trying to get little touches, and something brilliant is going to happen. But both defenses so far staying really nice and firm. Not too many shots even going on target. 3 in total in the first half of this game. That is how much this midfield pressure has been vital.
Itachi tries to butt Mets and gets him, but Seiko helps out. Astral there onto the backboard, and Relating Wave is there, and you're dead on Stumpy as well with the tactics. So much more often now, we're seeing 2 men in defense staying right back there, prepared for the booming clear. Not giving away anything, but now Endpoint have a chance. Metanoros, a few touches over, gets one more, then gets out the way to let in Seiko. Itachi rises quick and fast and booms it clear.
That ball surrendered to the Karmine Corp defense, as now Metza on the other side of the pitch has to defend himself. Astral to get the 50 and Itachi to go high on the back ball, but with Relating Wave waiting and going for the pinch, there it is,
done.
Can go below Itachi. The Astral, brilliant positioning to continue this play. Metza with a whiff, and leaves it to the young Frenchman to pick up the pieces.
We'll call it a clever fake, to be nice, at this highly tense point in this series. Astral with a clean touch. One forward to Seiko. This could be dangerous. Stake has to avoid the bump, which Metanoros was no doubt trying to wind up, but couldn't quite get there. And now here is Metz. He's got boost. He goes solo. Gone for a few of these so far this game. And then in goes Seiko, but it's read by Itachi.
Tell you what, we've seen so many of those plays where the starting player will start to go slow, and then a nippy little teammate is going to come in from below and actually go for the real shot. The selling the first shot is so important, and it nearly works. Meds are up for one, down for the second, but a great backboard block.
I tell you what, Metanoros really wants this one. It falls to Seiko after Metanoros' shot, and it's 1-0 Endpoint.
Absolutely jubilant cameras over on Endpoint's side. More talk from Eclipse, more talk from every single one of those players, and they know that 75 seconds separates them from 200 points or a potential 301.
Who else but Seiko as well to score the goal that Endpoint so desired? Stake wants to tee in Itachi, but it's just behind him. Karmine Corp did this yesterday. They had 50 seconds to equalize in Game 7. Now they've got a little bit more than that. They started off at this one with about 1 minute and 15 seconds, but can they do it? Relating Wave sends them right back. Itachi's read is so awkward. He goes again, calls off Stake well. Stake is going to be called into action now, but Seiko just more touches on the KC half. They're struggling to get rid of it until Astral gets a dribble, and Seiko can shoot wide.
Seiko has to send it as far as he can, but with Itachi shooting on net, he has to stay vigilant. Does not manage to get the best flick ever, and so Astral and Staken line up. Metza with a bump, leaves it to Itachi, sent to the corner. That's on target, but the shot being blocked out. The shielding of that blue net is sublime.
There's more defending to do now, though. Seiko up against Itachi. There's no one there. Stake had to rotate out. It's a shot on for Metanoros. Not quite. The pass was just a little bit in front of him. 13 seconds left. Here's Stake. He gets a flip towards Itachi. There's a pass here. Itachi's there. He's going for a bump. Stake surely gets a but somehow he hasn't. It's kept out by Relating Wave.
Relating Wave with the most brilliant composition I have seen in this series so far. Has a bump coming in, has a shot, and yet he jumps high, heads low, and pinches it into the corner. Gorgeous defense from him. Endpoint CEX defeat Karmine Corp in 7 games.
Unbelievable series right there. And Endpoint make their first grand finals since RLCS X's full Regional 3. Last time it was against Vitality, this time they're up against BDS.